Hello, Board of Directors and the Executive Search Committee. Thank you so much for taking this time out to interview me via video. My name is Natalie Milom, and I'm excited to be in consideration for the CEO position. My professional experience with homeless families actually happened by happenstance. In my role as the CEO at Family Footprint, when we began, when we were doing our planning for it, we always knew that we wanted to serve homeless families, but starting out, we decided to just provide the two-generation approach to help lift families out of poverty. And for us, that meant anybody that's in poverty. Well, once we got started, the very first cohort that we had of families that we were serving, over 50% of them were homeless. So very quickly we had to learn the culture, the climate here locally, just right here in our area, how to make sure that people were able to access homeless services in terms of them being able to get housed. We realized very quickly that it was sort of putting the cart before the horse to expect that families would be able to go to work when they did not have their basic needs such as housing and food and those types of things met. I quickly joined the Upstate Homeless Coalition, which is a part of the continuum of care here in the upstate of South Carolina. And what I learned to do was to just figure out who all of the key players were in this scope of homeless providers. We were able to meet on a weekly basis to determine which families would receive housing. And it's done, we have what we call the VI-SPDAT, which is a vulnerability index that we use to determine how vulnerable a family is and which families actually were chronic homeless, or chronically homeless, and which families, could survive with just having some interventions or some homeless services provided to them, whether it be transitional housing, rapid rehousing, or some other service. So my role though with Family Footprint, as we were trying to figure out how do we take a holistic approach to helping families, not just to get them housed temporarily in a shelter or even in transitional housing, but what's the holistic approach? So Family Footprint came in by providing life skills, we provide workforce development and training, we provide child care, and we provide quality child care to the children of these families, so that we're ensuring that they are ready to start school, that they are receiving developmentally appropriate interventions. And so that's what my role with homeless families have been over the past few years. The leadership abilities that I bring along with me to Rainbow Village include servanthood. I am a servant leader. I believe that within everything in me that you have to serve if you're going to have anything worthwhile. If you're going to be great at what you're doing, you first have to be a servant at heart. I'm also extremely passionate about people, and I'm passionate about this work, and not just the people that we are serving, but also the people with whom I work, including those that I will be working with internally as well as externally. I know that we can't do this work alone, and so you have to value the people who you're working with, both within your organization and outside of your organization. I am highly dependable, so I bring that with me. I'm very courageous. I take on a lot of things that most people see as huge mountains that can't be overcome. I am the type of person that will go after it if I believe that it's going to be beneficial for the clients with whom we're serving. I'm a person that's extremely grounded. I'm very grounded. Even in the midst of crises, a lot of times when things are just out of control and emotions are running high and anxiety is high, I'm oftentimes the one that's very calm and solution focused to figure out how do we move from where we are right now to a solution to whatever the problem that has presented itself. I'm client-centered. I believe that in order to be effective in any human services program, you have to be client-centered. You have to take the opinions and the ideas of the population that you're serving to ensure that you are effectively serving them. I'm teachable. I believe in lifelong learning. I don't think I'll ever be too old to learn something new. And I think I highly value that in a leader. You have to be humble enough to still learn. And I'm also very discerning. A lot of times, when things are going on, I have the ability to kind of see behind what's actually being said. So I'm a very discerning person. What has been successful is communicating with my donors. Learning how do they want to be communicated with. Some of them do not want an email every week. Some of them don't even want an email every month. And so I developed a donor survey that as soon as a donor gave to us, I would send them that survey to find out how often they wanted to be communicated with, what channels of communication were important to them. I would, find out just what are their desires? What is it that they want to be kept informed about? I also realized that I had to give them more or make them feel more appreciated than I would just my regular constituents. And so I often sent out information to them that only they received. Not all of the general public would receive the same level of information that the donors received. I learned very quickly that donors value transparency. They want you to be transparent with them. They want to know how their money is being used. If the money is being used for general operating expenses, then it's necessary to ensure that they are aware of that information. So just honesty, transparency have been those have been some really important lessons that I've learned. I also learned that donor retention is just as important as donor acquisition. My work was made a whole lot more effective by continuing to engage and cultivate the relationships with my existing donors. We used a platform called Deposit a Gift, and we were able to just push information out to some volunteers who were able to then in turn push it out on their social media channels, which allowed us to raise more money than we even anticipated. It allowed us to reach far more people than we could have ever reached on our own. I also learned to have events, we do a few events a year, enough to where we can continue to raise awareness about Family Footprint and awareness about our brand so that we were attracting more donors. I also learned that communication is so vital. We had to make sure that our website was attractive, it was interactive enough, that it really helped us to draw in the people that we were looking for to donate. One thing that I learned with the events is that non-ticket events produced more than our ticketed events did. We began using the Benavon model, which says basically that you have an event. It's a non-ticketed event, but you have table hosts. The table hosts that you appoint are responsible for filling their table with people who they know have the capacity to give. And then they served to really continue to push our mission. So although we were up there on stage and we had a great presentation, after that presentation, they were responsible for getting those pledge cards and talking more about Family Footprint and more about the services that we offer. And so that is one of the key things that I thought was successful for us in raising money, was to use that Benavon model with the non-ticketed events. Another thing that I learned quickly was about donor acknowledgement. I remember with our first few gifts, it was easy to acknowledge them quickly. But as we began to grow, our communication initially kind of dwindled a little bit, and we heard about it. Thankfully, the person that we heard about it from was someone that, was already very well connected to what we were trying to do. And it really helped me to learn that it doesn't matter how busy I am, it doesn't matter how busy I have gotten, the donors are the reason that the work is happening. They are funding it, they're providing it, and so they have to take precedence over something else. They have to take precedence because we want them to be a continued donor, right? We want to retain them as a donor. We implemented a 48-hour turnaround to acknowledge donors' gifts. There are several factors that compelled me to the CEO position at Rainbow Village. First and foremost, it's important to me that any company that I work for, that there's a really good fit for me. And so it's important that the company's mission aligns with my personal mission. Rainbow Village's mission to take a holistic approach to helping homeless families out of poverty is amazing. And it absolutely aligns with my personal mission to help vulnerable and oppressed individuals to receive the help that they need to rise above all of the structural and systemic barriers that are often faced. That's so important to me, and it's so embedded in my heart that I put myself back through school as a non-traditional student to go and learn all about social work, all about human behavior in the social environment, all about different policies, the political economy, those things that really present obstacles that oftentimes we don't really think about in that way. And then my personal or my professional experience has been very similar to the work, but then there are also some things about what Rainbow Village is doing that isn't necessarily had a lot of experience with, such as domestic violence. And so it's important to me in a position that I'm able to grow, that there's opportunity for me to grow professionally, and I do believe that that opportunity is there. I did read in your strategic plan where you guys are looking to scale your program. You're also looking to raise awareness, to increase your brand's image. And you ultimately want to be a national leader in the space of holistic approaches to homelessness. And so I believe that I'm able to help Rainbow Village to reach that next level of the national conversations that are happening right now around homelessness and domestic violence, as well as around poverty. So I want to thank you all for your time today, your consideration. I definitely hope that, I am selected as the new CEO to take you guys into your next 26 years of excellence. Thank you so much for your time.